besties, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are seeing my face for the first time, hi. My name is Maya and I like to talk about books here on the internet. I really need to explain this video because this is not what I had planned. This video was supposed to be just all one video, but if you guys look at the title of this video, you guys will know it's a part one of a wrap-up that I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to film obviously just the wrap-up portion of events, but then I also wanted to wrap up the amazing readathon because I didn't really get to do that. I was planning on vlogging the last few days of the readathon just to kind of round it out and, you know, wrap it up in a nice little bow, but life had other plans. You know, I took on a client, I have been working through certain health things, and then, you know, just having the regular life stuff and life getting a little bit more busy. And so I was like, okay, I'm not saying anything so that I don't run the risk of not being able to deliver, but in my head it was just kind of like, I have all of these plans, I have all of these goals, and it just feels like I am trying to play catch up here. And I'm just saying that because part two, which is more than likely going to be the next video, I'm not going to promise that, but more than likely going to be the next video of the part two of the wrapping up of the amazing readathon, because there was so much there that I kind of want to share with you guys, and I wanted to just like give to you guys this information just to maybe hopefully get you guys excited for the next one. And then I was like, okay, you know what? We're going to do it justice. We're going to sit down. We're going to have the stats in hand. We're going to do the deep dive research of like all of the different things, like what did you do? What was this? What was that? We're going to go back over the footage and we're just going to like insert things that you feel like kind of help give context to whatever it is that you're saying. Maybe even add like some fun moments when you were in streams of other people and like add those like little clipped moments of just watching that. You know, a lot of moving parts that I want to take my time with, and I want to deliver, and I want to give us quality. Like, I don't want to lessen the quality to give you guys more quantity. I wanted to just up the quantity and keep the quality. And then also, because I've been doing a lot of different things for editing for my short form, I was realizing, ooh, okay, I'm starting to build like a little style for myself. So yes, let us, you know, do that and stuff with these long form videos. So I was like, okay, that could work. Anyway, all of that to say, this video is going to be part one. And yes, I did put time, effort, and structure and then thought into editing. And there will be a part two that comes out after this that talks about the amazing readathon. So everybody, without further rambling, and all God's people said amen, let's get into my July wrap. The structure that I have for you guys for this portion of the video is simply, I have books that I have read that are in some reading vlogs. So if you want my in-depth deep dive thoughts on them, I will just reference those videos and I'll have them linked in the description box down below. And so I'll be very quick with those. I'll give more of my own personal, like 1 to 2 sentences, and then basically who I would recommend it to, the ratings, etc., etc. And then there are a few books that I did not get to film and or finish before I thought to pick up a camera or something else. And so for that, I will be making those separate, giving you guys a little bit more of a summary, a little bit more of an idea, and a little bit more in-depth thoughts from me. But I am limited on time, so that's why we're doing that. So let's get into the books. So first off, we have Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I had a completely dedicated reading vlog to this. It was my first ever collab video. It was a 5-star swap, so it is 5 stars. I think the biggest thing that I took away from this book was that 1, I have a new favorite author. 2, literally this should be taught in schools. And 3, any person, no matter what genre you read, should read this book. And I don't take that lightly. I know what that means. I know that, you know, normally we try to cater recommendations towards people we think that the target audience would be. I personally believe that this is a book that is important to read because of the conversations within it, how those conversations are handled, the perspectives that are given to the reader. And you really kind of get to explore both sides of very difficult topics, which is not normal. So it's very nice to see that within the writing, to see both sides, to not just see that and be like, oh, that's right, oh, that's wrong, according to our own personal life experiences and morals and ethics and all of that. Truly, it discusses the conversation, it gives multiple different perspectives, and then it really gets you into the mind of certain characters who really do truly believe what it is that they say. And I find that very refreshing as a reader. So this book, highly, highly recommend. The next book that I have read for the go into other reading vlogs to find my thoughts thing is Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. Honestly, do I even really need to summarize it anyway, even if I were gonna go book by book by book? Because it's a classic. It's a childhood read, it's nostalgic. Sure, maybe the newer generation probably doesn't know what this book is, but my older generational peeps, do you remember this book? Do you remember reading it? What are the memories associated with it? I heard in my head what memories surrounding it is it associated with, like, for you, and I confuzzled myself. So anyways, in fact, let me put up a question for y'all, not just about this book and about have you read it, but what was your favorite childhood read? And have you seen it around? Have you seen it revamped? How does that make you feel? All of the things, because I'll tell you what, I went to the dollar store the other day and Nancy Drew was right at the front of the counter, and this sweet older lady was like, oh my goodness, I remember reading that. And I was just like, oh my goodness, so did I. And she's like, you're too young for that. I'm like, no. Our entire class would either read Nancy Drew or the Hardy Boys. There was no in between. And it was usually girls went to Nancy Drew and the guys went to Hardy Boys. And if you ever crisscrossed on that, like, everyone would know and they would be like, ooh, so what did you think? It was such a great time. The one time I remember, like, being a part of the normalcy crowd, you know, at school. And then I just started reading in the corner while everyone was playing, I don't know, what was that? They were playing like dodgeball soccer or soccer with a dodgeball. Is there really a difference between a dodgeball and a soccer ball if everything that you do is kick it? You know, I don't know. Anyways, an interesting moment, and it was captured in the reading vlog, where I literally looked at the picture and I was like, how did I ever see that and think that that was, like, safe? Great vibes, great time, good time reliving my memories with it. So 5-star all the way around. And it is something that I would recommend, yes, to children, but also to those who are really feeling nostalgic. Last but certainly not least, for the books that I have read and went, like, into for the vlogs, and this book I went into. I'm surprised I didn't have, like, a dedicated reading vlog to it at the point that I was at with with it, but you know, I just kind of kept coming back to y'all and giving y'all updates throughout the weeks. And that book was Pan's Labyrinth by Cornelia Funk, inspired by the movie, directed by Guillermo del Toro. And this was a fun time. I mean, I said everything I had to say there, but I will say, for my own personal opinion, I think that it was a lot of just everything you never knew you needed for this type of book. The language, the descriptions, the violence even, the storylines, the structure, just everything just gave you the vibe of this book. And you gotta go into this realizing what it is. It is a myth retelling, and it's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna end in a happy ending. It's not all fun and games. It's trials, it's suffering, it's death, it's blood, it's gore, it's disgusting in some areas, if you don't like bugs. And I don't, literally. Listen, if the bugs were to ever take over, they could get me to do anything, okay? Just don't touch me, just don't sting me, just don't do your little creepy crawly thing near me, and yes, master, what do you want? This was a 5-star read, obviously. And also, if you guys haven't seen my Q2 stats video, feel free to check it out if you want. You don't have to. Like, that's probably the most statistical, hard data types of videos. So, you know, you gotta be in the mood to kind of consume that type of content. But In that video, I did talk about this was a book that was kept from an unhaul because one of y'all commented on the video that I should watch the movie. And if I'm gonna watch the movie, what do I gotta do? Read the book. Yeah, that's correct. I gotta read the book. So I read the book, and then I realized why the movie was the way that it was. Because, listen, my mom and I were so confused. We tried to look up the movie, and there was no English version, at least on the streaming platform that we were looking at, and we were having a really, really hard time getting English captions because it didn't allow it on the one that we looked at. And so I would have had to be like sat up and watching and paying attention, and I speak minimal Spanish as is. You know, it was just time for that movie, so we haven't watched it yet. But after this book, I am very much wanting to watch it, and I am very much recommending to my mom, who is not a horror fan, yeah, don't watch it with me. We'll watch Wicked together. Yeah, let's do that. Now to the books that might need a little bit more explanation from me because I did not put them in a reading vlog, and or I finished them and then I just let you guys know what was what and what was happening, especially because I was in the Amazing Readathon. You know, there was a lot of moving parts, okay? Isn't there always with competitive team-based readathons? There's a lot of stuff going on, so, you know. But these were books, I think very loosely. I think I might have mentioned two, for sure one, in the readathon, but I only gave you guys the star ratings, I think, question mark. Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman. No one is surprised. She is my auto buy. New fave, question mark, because I've read the first manga before, and then I just didn't have the money to get the rest of the series. So then I like completely forgot about that series until I saw the words are hard this morning, apparently, the trailer for the TV show that was coming out. My goodness. Couldn't even come up with TV. My goodness, Maya. So then I started to get back into it, and I reread the first book, had a lot of feelings. Immediately next day, bought the second book, read that. Third day, bought the third book, read that. Took a minute to get to the fourth book because it actually had to be sent through shipping. And then it took me forever to get this book in my hands. If y'all remember that journey and how weird that got, because not only did I keep talking about it and say, oh, I'm going to Target, so let's try, you know, getting this book, or oh, I went here, but instead of getting this book, because I know I'm gonna get it eventually, I got these books instead, or whatever. There was even a time where I had it in my hands physically, and then I had to be a responsible adult because the bills were being paid. Now, the bills were paid. Those were already saved up for and everything. But there was an extra, like, little thing that happened. I think it was literally that I needed to use some extra money on gas. And I was like, I need gas more than I need this book. It killed my soul. So we got the tank of gas. Literally the next day. It was payday, and then also I had Amazon credit, and I realized I had Amazon credit, and then I hauled 4 books for free. It was great. It was amazing. These were one of the books. That was a lot of context for a book for a review, having nothing to do with the book or reviewing said book, but this is the final book that we have in print for now. There's going to be a volume 6, and I'm so freaking ready. There's not much I can say without spoiling it, even for my own personal thoughts, other than this book handles communication so well. And I can totally go off on a rant on it, just not today, because I need to go to work and I need to figure out life and figure out how to do this video. You guys, this video took a long time coming to you guys. It was a lot of stress. It was a lot of anxiety. It was a lot of moving parts, a lot of running around. And now me just being like done. And I feel like I get to that point where I'm just like, I have the idea. It's ready to go. I'm so excited. Everything falls through in the filming, and then I just get so done, and then I just like have all of the decisions, all of the time, all of the different things, and then in editing it comes out really, really well. So, you know, even in the moments of frustration of not knowing what is going on, how I'm going to structure it, how I'm going to get it done. It always ends up happening, and it's always something that I end up being proud of. And the overall process prior to had so much enjoyment and so much fulfillment that that little moment of just like, everything is falling apart, everything is burning, what is going on, is irrelevant. How nice. I think I want to really sit down and make a video of just like random things that I didn't think I would like, just based off of past history, like literal past history and literal past things that I've said. And then it's done really well. And I'm just like, oh, but that though, yes, we appreciate that. So this is one of those books as well. And just, not only is she a new fave, I will say that, she is an auto buy. She's also an auto 5-star. So yeah, Alice Oseman, you have my highest praises and accolades for sure. We got another manga for y'all. We got The Tarot Cafe, Volume 1. I mean, I pretty much summarized it and said what I needed to say in the vlog, question mark, but it was very quick. And this is also going to be very quick, but this is a reread, and it got 5 stars from me. And what I really like about this particular book is that even though it's clearly a continuation and clearly, you know, we're moving on to bigger and better things, we are so invested in the story, a story that doesn't even really give us much on the main character. I think we get more about the main character from the summary than we do in the actual substance of the book. And you know what? I'm not mad about it. Like, probably any other book I would be raging because there's so much real estate. What are you doing? But I feel like you really get her and her personality and her perspective and just who she is as a person to set up for probably the next volume that kind of gives us a little more about her in this one. I kind of like that because then we're following along in the stories and kind of her thoughts as she's talking to these people who we saw their past, now they're present, they're making this decision. She's saying what she's saying in the way that she's saying it, and then they make their decision. And then sometimes throughout it, there's this side character that pops up that I think maybe her assistant, maybe her friend, I'm not entirely sure at the moment, but it's just this character that's always around. And they asked her, like, you just lied to them, or you just did this. You didn't mention that this card could also be this. And she's like, they made their decision. They know what their future is going to be if they do this. And they still are bound and determined to do this. Why would I add extra, you know, bad news for them? They already know. And it was kind of just like, whoa, okay. So yes, there is deceit there, but not in the way that you think. And there is an empathy, there is a compassion, there is humanity within her. And I think like it's really good to remember that all of these characters have a sense of humanity as you're going through the story, because it shows the other side, because her clients are not human. Let's just say that. But they all have their own moments of humanity where we're kind of just like, oh, okay. And so, yeah, I love that. 5-star. And great time, great book. The last book that I officially completed, that literally none of y'all saw, was Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. Okay, it's a novella, and I feel like anything I could possibly say in summary is going to be spoilery. But I'll try my best. So first off, that cover is insanely accurate to what is going on in the story. I really want to know how many of y'all, if y'all have read this, read the prologue. Or I'm sorry, not the prologue, the author's note. Because she talks a lot about what the content of this book is and what he, she, they, I'm sorry, I don't know, wanted to kind of convey with this book. And, you know, I read the 3 pages and I was like, wow, that makes sense. And then as I went along through the story, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is definitely not what you would think when you think graveyard shift, but you know, it does kind of make sense once you really get into her author's note, once you really start going into this book, kind of not with expectations, which was interesting and ironic because I have watched other people talk about this book, so clearly I'm not going in without a bias or without any knowledge because I've been watching other people read this book. But I liked it. Like, I liked it a lot. I think that this was helped by the author's note too, like just my entire experience of reading the author's note and then reading what I read. It made so much sense. It made it more for me. And what was in the author's note is not spoilery territory for the book, so I'll kind of go off of that and use that as kind of like my template for what I'm gonna say as the summary. The author talks about having insomnia and what that could look like, could mean for people. And then this entire book is following people who work the graveyard shift most of the time because of insomnia. Now, that's not the reasonings for their jobs, and they all have some version of insomnia. Plot twist, spoiler alert. They all have some version of insomnia. The reasonings behind why they chose the work shifts that they chose, some of them, it was because of insomnia. Some of them, it wasn't because of insomnia, but it was nice to feel like they had some type of normalcy amidst the insomnia, and that one got to me because that was, when I heard that reasoning from one of the characters, I was just like, oh my goodness. You don't think of that in the real world. You know, you just think, oh man, I got the late night shift, the graveyard shift, or oh, I got the early morning, like y'all are still in bed as I'm, you know, doing the early bird shift. Some of us are mid, just regular 9 to 5 hours. Some of us like go into weird random territory. And I always felt that. Like for me, I was always my back half nights shifts, always. So sometimes that would be till 11 p.m. Sometimes that would be till 10:30 p.m. Thankfully, it switched over to 9:30 p.m. because it's like, I work back half. That means I work Thursday to Saturday and Wednesday to Saturday every other week, respectively. I go to church the entire day Sunday, pretty much. So me trying to do choir ministry on a freaking 11 p.m. cutoff point. I mean, I would still do it because quite frankly, I go to bed at 1 p.m. no matter what. And that's on a good night, okay? Sometimes I stay up till 2 or 3. My stomach's rumbling for some odd reason. For once in my life, I may actually be hungry for breakfast. I don't know if the camera is picking that up, so that's why I said that just in case. Otherwise, this just looks like a random aside, but now I've explained it, so. Yeah, that would be terrible. But anyways, all of that to get back to, there was a point to that. You know, you don't think about those things when you're doing your jobs. Normally, like, you're like, I have this job because it was available. I get paid the money. I have a roof over my head. That's that. But when you really, like, get into the mind and the psyche, which is what the author wants from you, when you get into the mind and into the psyche of these people, and as you're following them along on this journey, you start to see the elements of insomnia take over, but then also the plot is surrounding people with insomnia. It's almost like one of those really cool, really like think piecey type of dreams. It's not like a fever dream. It's one of those like more lucid dreams where you go through what you go through and then you wake up and you feel like you have already lived a day to wake up to live another day. You know what I mean? It's those ones that aren't like crazy and just out there and abnormal and you know that they're dreams. And but like you still go through the motions and you still feel exhausted by the time you wake up. Those are the worst, because it's like, at the very least, I have tricked my mind into thinking for lucid dreams that this was just me reliving another day, and somehow I just like crashed out, woke up, now I'm having to live again. But with like fever dreams that make you work for it and you feel like you're like expending all of this energy, and I know it's abnormal, and then I wake up and I feel like I have just run 8,000 miles like I did in that fever dream. That's never the case for me. I have never had the pleasure of getting to run in my dreams that type of distance. I'm always running from monsters. I'm always dying too. It's crazy. It truly feels like one of those lucid dreams. And the real question is it? Like, we know it's not, because daylight hours, you get the confirmation. But if it was cut off where it could have been cut off, boy, you would have people speculating so hard if you did that. Like, that would have been so cool. Actually, might have gotten a higher rating if you did, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I actually gave this book, I think I gave it a 3.5. It might dip its toes into a 4 if I really think about it, and probably already is, but I was reading for speed at that point. So maybe if I sat down with it a little bit longer and had a little bit more time to digest, I feel like I may give this book a higher rating, but for now, it's 3.5. Hello. You're seeing me, so that is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for taking the time out of your day to do so. I will be linking everything that I think is relevant in the description box down below. I don't know what video I'm filming for anymore these days. And also, I will leave my socials as well. You can follow me on my lifestyle channel that is just gonna be turning into like a hobby, like unwind channel pretty much, and a commentary of life channel. But that channel, and then I have a book talk and a bookstagram and a regular Instagram, and I think that is everything. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, for enduring chaos, and as always, thank you guys so much for being the best bookish bestie that ever was, is, or ever will be. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Bye!